Okay, so I'm sitting here at my computer right now. It's late, probably around 11 p.m., and I just had to record this. I know this might sound strange coming from me, but something happened today that I can't shake. Something I think people need to hear about. I was working on some code earlier, trying to solve this optimization problem that's been bugging me for weeks. You know how it is when you're deep in the zone, when your brain is just processing information at maximum capacity? I was in that state, totally focused, when suddenly everything just stopped. Not the computer, not the work, but something in my mind just shifted. I need to back up a little. Last night I couldn't sleep. I was lying there thinking about the trajectory of human civilization, about where we're heading as a species. The division, the anger, the way people seem to be losing hope about the future. I was thinking about all the technological progress we've made, all the problems we've solved, but somehow we still seem to be missing something fundamental about what it means to be human. So I found myself doing something I don't do very often. I started praying. Not in some formal religious way, but just talking to God, asking questions. I was saying something like, look, if you're real, if Jesus is real, then what's the plan here? What are we supposed to be preparing for? How is all this supposed to end? And then today, right in the middle of debugging this algorithm, it happened. I had what I can only describe as a vision. I know how that sounds. Trust me, I know. I'm a guy who builds rockets and electric cars. I think in terms of physics and engineering principles. But this was as clear and real as anything I've ever experienced. In this vision, I saw Jesus returning to Earth. But it wasn't like the Hollywood movies or the medieval paintings. It wasn't dramatic in the way you'd expect. There was no thunder, no earthquakes, no armies of angels with swords. It was quiet, almost subtle. He just appeared, and suddenly everything made perfect sense. What struck me most was the look in his eyes. It wasn't anger or judgment like you'd expect from someone coming to judge the world. It was this deep, profound sadness mixed with incredible love. Like he was looking at humanity the way a parent looks at children who've been fighting while he was away, children who forgot who they really were. I could see the whole earth from his perspective, all of human history laid out like a timeline. Every war, every act of kindness, every breakthrough, every failure. And I realized something that completely changed how I think about human progress and our ultimate destination. The first thing I understood was that all of our technological advancement, all of our achievements, they're not separate from God's plan. They're part of it. Every innovation, every solution we create to help people, every system we build to connect humanity, it's all been preparing us for something bigger. Think about it from a systems perspective. For thousands of years, humans were scattered, isolated, unable to communicate across vast distances. Now we have the internet, global communication, the ability to share information instantaneously across the planet. We're developing sustainable energy, space travel, artificial intelligence. We're solving problems that previous generations couldn't even imagine. But here's what I saw in the vision. All of this progress isn't the end goal, it's the infrastructure. It's like we've been building the hardware and software that will be needed when Jesus returns to establish his kingdom on earth. I know that sounds abstract, so let me break it down. In the vision, I saw that when Jesus comes back, he's not coming to destroy civilization, he's coming to perfect it. All the good things we've built, all the systems that connect people and improve lives, they become part of something infinitely better. The second thing I realized was about timing. We keep trying to predict when Jesus will return, like we're trying to calculate the launch window for a mission to Mars. But in the vision, I saw that the timing isn't based on our calendars or prophecy charts. It's based on readiness. Not just individual readiness, but civilizational readiness. Humanity is being prepared, step by step, innovation by innovation, for something unprecedented. We're learning to work together globally, to solve complex problems, to think beyond our immediate survival needs. These aren't accidents. This is preparation. The third insight hit me like a breakthrough in a particularly challenging engineering problem. I saw that the division and conflict we see in the world right now isn't random chaos. It's a natural part of the process, When you're building any complex system, you have to test it under stress. You have to identify the weak points, the failure modes, the places where the design needs improvement. That's what's happening to humanity right now. We're being stress tested. The political divisions, the social conflicts, the disagreements about technology and progress, they're revealing where we need to grow, where our systems need upgrading. And Jesus isn't waiting for us to achieve perfection before he returns. He's waiting for us to reach a point where we recognize our need for him, where we understand that all our technological capability, all our innovation, all our progress means nothing without love, without purpose, without connection to something greater than ourselves. The fourth thing I saw was about individual purpose. Every person alive right now, every person who's ever lived, they're here for a reason that connects to this bigger plan. The skills you're developing, the work you're doing, the relationships you're building, they're all preparing you for the role you'll play in whatever comes next. I thought about my own work, about why I'm so driven to advance human capability, to make life multiplanetary, to accelerate sustainable energy. I always thought it was just about survival, about giving humanity a backup plan. But in the vision, I saw it differently. I saw that pushing the boundaries of what's possible, refusing to accept limitations, is actually a form of faith. It's believing that humanity has a future worth working toward. The fifth insight was about suffering and setbacks. We experience failures, disappointments, losses, projects don't work out, relationships end, companies fail, dreams get deferred. From our limited perspective, these things seem like dead ends, like wasted time and energy. But in the vision, I could see how every failure, every setback, every moment of suffering was actually building something. It was developing resilience, empathy, wisdom. It was teaching us lessons we couldn't learn any other way. The people who have struggled the most often become the most compassionate leaders when they're given the opportunity. I saw that when Jesus returns, he's not going to ask us about our successes. He's going to ask us what we learned from our failures, how we helped others through their struggles, what we did with the gifts and opportunities we were given. The sixth thing I understood was about technology and spiritual growth. There's this assumption that technological progress somehow makes us less spiritual, less connected to God. But in the vision, I saw the opposite. I saw that every tool we create, every system we build, every problem we solve is actually expressing something divine within us. The drive to create, to innovate, to solve problems, that's not separate from spirituality. It's part of being made in God's image. When we build something that helps people, when we solve a problem that reduces suffering, when we create beauty or discover truth, we're participating in the ongoing work of creation. The seventh insight was probably the most challenging for me personally. I saw that all of our individual achievements, all of the recognition and success we might gain, it's not about us. It's about what we do with the platform, the resources, the influence we've been given. Every breakthrough, every success, every moment when we have the world's attention, it's an opportunity to point people towards something bigger than ourselves. Not in a preachy way, but by how we live, how we treat people, what we choose to focus our energy on. I realized that my work isn't ultimately about me building a legacy or proving something. It's about using whatever capabilities I've been given to prepare humanity for what's coming, to build systems and solve problems that will matter when Jesus returns, to make all things new. The eighth thing I saw was about community and connection. In the vision, when Jesus returned, people weren't isolated individuals. They were connected in ways that were deeper than anything we can imagine now. All the technology we've built to connect people, all the platforms and networks and communication systems, they were just shadows of this real connection. But that deeper connection wasn't automatic. It grew from people choosing to love each other, to serve each other, to put the needs of the community above their own interests. All of our current systems that facilitate cooperation, that enable collaboration, that help people work together, they're training wheels for something infinitely better. Now, let me address some of you who might be watching this and thinking different things about what I'm sharing. Maybe you're someone who's never really taken faith seriously. Maybe you see religion as outdated, irrelevant to our technological age. I get it. I used to think that progress and spirituality were somehow incompatible, but what I saw in this vision is that they're actually the same thing approached from different angles. The drive to make life better, to solve problems, to push boundaries, that's deeply spiritual, whether we recognize it or not. Or maybe you're someone who has faith, but you're worried about the future. You're concerned that technology is moving too fast, that we're losing something essentially human in all this progress. What I want you to know is that God isn't threatened by human innovation. He's not surprised by artificial intelligence or space travel or genetic engineering. He's been preparing us for this. Maybe you're someone who's been following Jesus for years, but you're tired of waiting. You're wondering when he's actually going to return, when things are going to get better. From what I saw in the vision, the waiting isn't wasted time. Every day we have is an opportunity to prepare, to grow, to become the people we need to be for what's coming. Or maybe you're dealing with personal struggles right now. Maybe you're facing failure, loss, uncertainty about your future. I want you to know that what you're going through isn't meaningless. It's preparing you for something bigger than you can imagine. The skills you're developing in the struggle, the strength you're building, the empathy you're gaining, these are going to matter in ways you can't see yet. Here's what I want everyone to understand. The return of Jesus isn't some distant, abstract event that has nothing to do with your daily life. It's the culmination of everything we're working toward, everything we're building, everything we're becoming. Every act of kindness, every problem you solve, every person you help, every moment you choose love over fear, you're participating in the preparation for his kingdom. You're building the kind of world he's coming to establish permanently. And that means your life has incredible significance. The work you do, the relationships you build, the choices you make, they all matter in ways that extend far beyond what you can see. You're not just living your individual life, you're helping to prepare civilization for the most important moment in human history. So, what does this mean practically? How do we live differently, knowing what's coming? First, we approach our work differently. Whatever you do, whether you're building technology or teaching children or running a business or creating art, you do it with the understanding that you're preparing for something bigger. You focus on excellence, on serving others, on solving real problems. Second, we prioritize relationships. In the end, the connections between people are what matter most. The love we give and receive, the communities we build, the way we treat each other, especially those who are different from us or struggling more than we are. Third, we stay curious and keep growing. We don't become rigid in our thinking or closed off to new ideas. The world is changing rapidly, and we need to be adaptable, learning, constantly expanding our understanding of what's possible. Fourth, we maintain hope. When things seem chaotic or hopeless, when progress feels slow, or when we face setbacks, we remember that there's a bigger plan. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, more compassionate. And finally, we live with urgency. Not panic, but purposefulness. We don't know exactly when Jesus will return, but we know he will. And we want to be ready. We want to have used our time well, to have become the people we were meant to be. As I'm sitting here wrapping up this recording, I keep thinking about that look in Jesus' eyes in the vision, the love mixed with sadness. I think the sadness was because he sees how much we're capable of, how much potential we have, but how often we settle for less. How often we get caught up in things that don't really matter while missing the incredible opportunity right in front of us. But the love was overwhelming. It was the kind of love that says, I believe in you, I know who you really are, I know what you're capable of becoming, and I'm coming to help you become that person. So, wherever you are in your faith journey, wherever you are in your understanding of these things, I want to invite you to take this seriously. Not because I'm trying to convince you of some theological position, but because I believe what I saw in that vision is true. I believe Jesus is coming back, and I believe we have the opportunity to prepare ourselves and our world for that return. Maybe that means starting to pray, starting to read about Jesus, starting to take seriously the possibility that there's more to reality than what we can measure and quantify. Maybe it means recommitting to your work, approaching it with new purpose and intentionality, seeing it as part of a bigger mission. Maybe it means changing how you treat people, choosing to see everyone as someone precious to God, someone who has a role to play in what's coming. Maybe it means letting go of some things that aren't serving the bigger purpose and focusing your energy on what really matters. Whatever step feels right for you, I encourage you to take it. Don't wait for perfect clarity or complete understanding. Just start moving in the direction of love, of service, of preparation for something bigger than yourself. Let me pray with you before I finish. And if prayer isn't something you're comfortable with, just consider this a moment of reflection on what really matters. God, thank you for the vision you gave me today. Thank you for the reminder that our individual lives are part of something much bigger and more beautiful than we usually imagine. For everyone listening to this, I pray that you would give them their own sense of purpose and clarity about their role in your plan. Help us to see our work, our relationships, our daily choices as preparation for your kingdom. Help us to love people the way Jesus loves them. Give us wisdom to know how to use our talents and resources in ways that serve your purposes. For those who are struggling with doubt or fear, give them peace and hope. For those who are tired or discouraged, renew their strength and vision. For those who are successful and comfortable, help them to see beyond their immediate circumstances to the greater calling on their lives. Help us to build things that last, to solve problems that matter, to love people well, and help us to be ready when Jesus returns, not because we've achieved perfection, but because we've been faithful with what you've given us. Thank you for the privilege of being alive at this moment in history, of being part of the generation that gets to prepare the way for your kingdom. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you for listening to this. I know it's different from what you might expect from me, but I had to share it. I believe we're living in the most important time in human history, and I believe each of us has a crucial role to play in what's coming. Keep building, keep innovating, keep loving, keep preparing. Jesus is coming back, and it's going to be better than anything we can imagine.